Hi, today I would like to talk about a serious topic. The reason for which I'm wearing a wig is not because I'm making fun or I'm trying to be funny. I'm wearing just a wig because it's part of my expression, so I do it regularly. This is just the way I am. But anyways, I hope you can understand this. If not, there is nothing I can do to make you understand that me wearing a wig is just part of my feelings and the way I just woke up this morning and I perceived life. So I'm gonna talk about suicide. So people who committed suicide or people who wanna commit suicide do not wanna die. They actually are committed suicide because they are going through existential suffering. If you never experience existential suffering, you wouldn't be able to understand it. But I can talk about myself, and the reason for which I want to commit suicide is because I just don't fit. And I have been trying so hard to make it, but um, to be honest, I just realized that it's not worth it. What happened to me is that I am genetically diverse. However, I have been raised in Sicily, where people do not understand that much about psychology, so they weren't able to understand what it was so diverse with me, and they tried to teach me stuff as if I was a normal child, but I do have Asperger, so they weren't able to understand this, and they literally massacred me. Um, they were trying to make me normal, and obviously I cannot be normal because my nervous system works in a completely different way from a neurotypical brain. I do process reality differently, and the way like my synapses work differently from a standard human brain. It's hard to express in words how my mind works, but I mean, if you don't have Asperger, maybe you cannot fully understand what I'm saying. I have always been interested in psychology and neuroscience. I'm very fascinated by the chemistry of our brain and human body and chemistry in general. I diagnosed it by myself Asperger. Um, what I'm going to do the 11th of March, I'm going to see a specialist who will just confirm my diagnosis. The reason for which the diagnosis is important, at least to me, it's because I hope there is a specific environment I can be surrounded by in which existence doesn't feel like a torture. Having a mind like mine is absolutely fascinating, and I'm very happy of being how I am, and of being able to have a completely unique vision about the world and stuff. What I struggle with is relating myself with neurotypical brains, with people I see every day, because the way they approach me makes me feel as if I was a mouse analyzed by a physician. But I am a human being, even though my nervous system works differently, and I do learn in a very different way. I do learn practically. I do learn through experience. I do learn by doing stuff. I do not like theory that much. Well, let's say that I can read a book, but the book has to be very practical. I don't like this enormous book full of nonsense words that obviously are in the book because they need to sell you the book, so they need to make it big. And it's to justify the price of what they are selling you. It doesn't have anything to do with learning or educating you. It's like about business, and that's the reason for which I'm not willing to read stuff that does not make any sense to me, and it's misleading and creates confusion in my mind. um, and it's just useless. I have been studying law. The reason for which I studied law is because I wanted to see how human beings can use words to make it right when they are wrong. Um, However, like after 4 years that I was reading these massive books about things that didn't make any sense to me, I just decided like to quit and to have a more practical life. So I started traveling, and like I was trying to understand why I was feeling the way I was feeling, and why my mind was feeling very difficult. And a couple of years ago, I just realized that I do have Asperger. So this makes life very difficult in a world in which you are supposed to be a slave and be functional according to society, which is dysfunctional to life. So I am happy I don't fit. Um, what makes me suicidal is that the world is too slow to understand what having Asperger means, and to what having like a very fast mind means. Like I do understand stuff very quickly, and this is a kind of handicap in a silly world where the only meaning of life is like producing pollution and making profit. It doesn't make any sense to me. I wonder why would I spend my life making a profit. I mean, money has been created to regulate human relationships, but it's part of life, but it's not life itself. And what I see myself, it's a misunderstanding of money that has a lot to do with ego and a lack of education. Um, I do feel glad that I'm still able to have the will to communicate with you by recording myself. As I said, I do avoid any kind of contact with the external world, because for me he's just a waste of time, and the way people's brain works um, is just like way too simple for me, and I get very frustrated. um, I do not understand why people are not able to see life how I see it and how I process it myself. So I'm not very tolerant, and talking to you while recording myself, it just like makes it easier for me, because I don't really care about what you think about what I'm trying to do. I just want you to understand how my mind works, because it's not just about me. Asperger is part of human beings, and in order to be able to give to the next generation a better journey on this earth, I do think it's important you have an understanding. And what I'm trying to do here, I really do not care about being famous or having likes or whatever. I don't care about being appreciated, not really. I mean, I would be a hypocrite if I wanted to be appreciated by the average of people that I do know. I don't appreciate. Like I do not appreciate the way their mind works and the way they process stuff and think, if they are able to think. I don't give a fuck. And like I don't have filters, so I can't be cunning, and I don't want to be cunning. So there is no other purpose in this video, um, rather than make you understand why I am suicidal, what it is Asperger, and why I don't fit, and what's wrong with what's going on. And what's wrong with what's going on Earth is that humans are leading a life that it's not in harmony with human biology, but we are leading a life that comes from the imagination of what a human being should be. And this is absolutely ignorant and crazy, and human beings are making themselves suffering without reason. They just do not have a clue. They don't understand biology, they don't understand chemistry, which is the only thing they should understand to be able to lead a life which is human and is not a prison. It's not a fucking mental prison. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not sure if many people can get my words, but what I'm trying to say is that if diversity is not understood in this century and leads me to an unbearable mental suffering, for me there is no point of living life. And I just think it's human. It's not crazy. I do not have any mental issue. Asperger is not a mental illness, is a genetically variation. It's a diverse genetic that makes my mind works and process life differently. I cannot put in words my mind. I cannot make you feel how it feels like, but the way I see things, it's just like too far, and it's like more advanced compared to the ability of people, of the understanding of people in this century. And for me, talking to a bunch of retarded, it is a waste of time. That's the reason for which I do not interact with other human beings, or if I do it shortly and quickly, or I do it if I think it's worth it. What I'm doing here, I hope there is somebody out here who can understand what I'm trying to say and who can understand my message. I'm gonna end this video by saying that if life costs more than life itself, there is no point of living life. And it's useless that you're trying to cure depression as if depression was a sickness. Depression is a sane reaction to an insane environment we are forced to live.